During the Christmas season of 1952, aspiring photographer Therese Belivet works in Frankenberg's department store in Manhattan. She meets a glamorous woman, Harge Aird, who is searching for a doll for her daughter Rindy. At Therese's recommendation, Carol purchases a model train set instead. When Carol departs, she leaves her gloves on the counter, and Therese mails them to her using Frankenberg's sales slip with Carol's name and address. Therese's boyfriend, Richard, wants her to go to France with him, hoping they will marry, but she is ambivalent about their relationship. A common friend, Danny, invites Therese to his workplace in the New York Times, and offers to introduce her to a photo editor friend. Meanwhile, Carol is going through a difficult divorce from her husband Harge. Carol calls Frankenberg to thank the clerk who returned the gloves and invites Therese to lunch. Therese visits Danny, and he kisses her, but she becomes uncomfortable and leaves. Carol invites Therese to her home in New Jersey. She stops to purchase a Christmas tree, and Therese takes candid photographs of her. Harge arrives unexpectedly to take Rindy to Florida for Christmas. He becomes suspicious of Therese, as Carol had an affair with her friend Abby years before. Therese witnesses their argument. After Rindy leaves, a distressed Carol takes Therese to the train station so she can return home. Carol calls to apologize to Therese, and they meet at her apartment, where Carol surprises her with a suitcase containing a gift of a Canon camera and film. Carol has learned that Harge is petitioning the judge to consider a morality clause against her, threatening to expose her and give him full custody of Rindy. She decides to take a road trip to escape the stress of the divorce proceedings and invites Therese to join her. Richard accuses Therese of being infatuated with Carol and predicts Carol will soon tire of her. The two argue, and their relationship comes to an end. On the second night of the trip, Therese meets a traveling salesman, Tommy Tucker. On New Year's Eve, Carol and Therese kiss for the first time and spent the night together. The following day, they discover that Tucker is a private investigator Harge hired to obtain evidence against Carol. Carol threatens Tucker at gunpoint, but he claims to have already sent tape recordings to Harge. Carol and Therese turn back. The next day, in Chicago, Therese learns that Carol has flown home to fight for custody of her daughter, having asked Abby to drive Therese home, and Abby gives her a letter from Carol. At home, Therese telephones Carol, but knowing that she risks losing custody of Rindy if she continues her relationship with Therese, Carol hangs up. Therese creates a portfolio of her photographs and gets a job at the New York Times. In the meantime, Carol has been seeing a psychotherapist as a condition of the divorce settlement. During a contentious meeting in mid-April with divorce lawyers, Carol suddenly admits to the truth of what the tapes contain and refuses to deny her sexuality. To avoid going to court and the likelihood of a public scandal, she tells Harge that he can have custody of Rindy if he allows her regular visits. Carol writes to Therese, and they meet in the lounge of the Ritz Tower Hotel. Carol reveals she will work for a furniture house and has taken an apartment on Madison Avenue. Therese declines Carol's invitation to live with her. Carol tells Therese that she is meeting associates in the Oak Room and that they can have dinner if she changes her mind. Therese remains still, and Carol says, "I love you." They are interrupted by Jack, a colleague who has not seen Therese in months, and Carol departs. Therese accepts Jack's ride to a party but finds she cannot connect with anyone. She leaves for the Oak Room, scans the diners and sees Carol at a table. Therese hesitates, then walks toward Carol. Their eyes meet, and Carol gazes at Therese with a smile that slowly grows.